What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Let me entertain you. Speaking of entertaining you, today on the program, I have DJ Rick Zilke out of Jacksonville, Arkansas. That's right, Central Arkansas, the same area that I'm at. Yes, we're colleagues. I love it. I've known him for a long time, or quite some time, at least 5 years or so. I've actually only met him a couple of years ago, but I don't know a lot about him. So we're going to get to know him a little bit more and how he came to be in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, well, I wasn't going to have a show tonight, but my man Brock Forness, he called me and he says he needed some coverage at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas tonight, Saturday night. Video dance party, karaoke jam. They got the full bar. The kitchen's open. They got pool tables. They got 10, count them, 10 diamond-style pool tables. I'm not sure what that is, but they're impressive. They're beautiful tables. Let me tell you, I know they have a pool tournament on Friday nights. They might have a pool tournament some other night throughout the week as well, so they had to have these really good tables. But on Saturday nights, those tables are open for you. Yes, you. Come on out to the Rab tonight, 8 p.m. until I think it's 12:30 in the AM. Yeah, it's a party on tonight. All right, party people, let's get into it with DJ Rick Zilke. I got him on the Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version at youtube.com/user/KeysDAN, or just look up KeysDAN on YouTube and you'll find the Radio What logo right there next to me. And that's where I keep all my podcasting and such. All right, party people, let's get into it. Rick Zilke, Skyping Rick Zilke now.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, do you have an hour to talk, or are you having lunch?
Well, of course I got an hour to talk. I can always talk to KeysDAN, the famous DJ that I know.
Wait, you're going to sit there with the phone up in the air, waving like you just don't care?
Well, of course. I always wave like I just don't care. Look, here's some more customers coming in, J. There you go.
No, we're okay now. Now that I have you properly in my broadcast software, where are you, DJ Rick Zilke?
I am in Jacksonville at a little place called J-Bill Grill, eating lunch.
And what's J-Bill Grill to you? Is that a place you hang out all the time?
Yeah, it's kind of a place I hang out in Jacksonville. It's a good little place. I had a karaoke gig here, but it is what it is.
Well, all right. Since I got you on the What Makes You Famous podcast, and you're kind of looking around, it seems like you're distracted, man. You sure you want to do this? Here. You don't want to do this when you're sitting at home, somewhere place comfortable? No. Do you have an
Brother,
office?
I'm good. No, I'm always watching my back. I'm good. I'm right here.
And that's the way it is sometimes.
I never know which X is going to show up, man.
Oh, okay. All right, man. Hey. All right. Well, give the people a little idea of who you are, man.
Well, hello, everybody. I am DJ Rick Z. I'm good friends with KeysDAN. Me and Keys have known each other probably about 2 years now, maybe a little longer. We've known of each other for a long time. Man, we just do our thing and try to make some money.
Yeah, Ricky Z, I've known you. I've known of you. You've been a colleague. We don't step on each other DJ-wise, if you will, and we kind of try to help each other. If I have extra gigs, I'll throw them your way, and you've done the same for me. But I don't know a lot about you, man. Where are you from? Where did you start the journey?
I am from Jacksonville, Arkansas. I'm not from Jacksonville, Arkansas. I was actually born in Texas, but I lived in Jacksonville, and I got my big start. And if anybody has ever been to Skate World in Jacksonville, Arkansas, that's where I got my big start at. At about 13 years old, I was DJing at the skating rink.
You know what's funny? I think we might have mentioned this before, because one of my first gigs was at Galaxy Skateway in Miami, Florida, Hollywood, Florida, really. a little bit north of Miami. But that was one of my first gigs as well when I was just a baby DJ back in, I think it was 85, 84, 85, maybe even 86. If memory eludes me, which it often does. The older we get, the less memory we have. But skating rinks, man, what an interesting time. And what year was this when you were doing this?
This would have been probably, I was around 13. So it's about the time with you, Dan. It's about 83, 84 maybe.
83, 84. So it was 2 turntables and a microphone? What was the setup?
Oh, man, the turntables and a microphone, baby.
Was that the setup?
With the old pitch control on it,
Okay, yeah, and you had some kind of a mixing board between the 2 turntables? Was it the standard setup?
Between the 2 turntables.
Do you remember what kind of turntables they were?
Kenwoods, actually. I'd never heard of them I've never heard of them since, but they said Kenwood on them, and they were real good turntables. I mean, real solid piece of equipment,
Well, Kenwood makes good audio equipment, like for the car. They make Kenwood radios and stereos and that kind of equipment. I guess I haven't had a Kenwood turntable either. I had when I was a little older as a DJ, but I mean, I started with just a house system when I was first doing the school DJing as well. But
sir.
The 2 turntables, I think they were set up already in the skating rink when I got there, and all I had to do was bring my plates, bring my 12 inches, and go.
12 inches, your crates on a dolly.
Well, so what were the things that you were spinning back then in '83? Was it all? I mean, well, tell me what your first memories of being a DJ were,
45s, man, 45s.
45s.
45s and 45s.
Do you remember what the little the widget is called that you have to use on a 45 to get it to fit on a regular spindle? Do you remember what that's called?
I don't know what the name of it's called. I've never really known the name. I just know that, back in the day we had that yellow thing that you had to put in between the 45s.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember what the first records you had were?
But the records that I started using already had the little knob. I call it like a knob thing that went over the turntable, and then you could put a 45 on it.
Oh, yes, that's right. Those were fancy. They kind of lifted up a little bit, and you just slid the 45 right over that. So it had a...
I also remember, Keys, and you probably will too. I also remember the long black one that would go over the turntable, and you could load like 6 records on it.
Yes.
And it would finish a song and drop.
Oh, my gosh, man. And that made, technology, we tried to make our lives a little bit easier. Because, back then, how many records could you carry in 2 crates? Maybe 40 records, possibly. And that's all the music you're going to get at that party, friends and neighbors, boys and girls. Not like these days where we're expected to have every song ever made everywhere in the whole wide world, even if it just came out yesterday. This band played in my backyard back in 1972. Do you have this record?
No, probably not.
No, you don't have this record. But nowadays with technology, it just gets better and better and better. And it'll be easier. If we got Wi-Fi, I could buy any song on the spot, right there, right now. So,
sir.
But you still haven't gone. I remember the first 45s that I had. I think the first one that I can remember 45-wise was the Bee Gees' Got to Get a Message to You. Was probably my first 45. And then I had 3 8-tracks that I can remember. It was the Eagles' Greatest Hits, Stevie Wonder's Superstition, and Steve Martin's Wild and Crazy Guy. Those were the first 3 8-tracks that I had. But do you remember what the early Rick Zilke, early DJ Rick was playing at the time?
I would say the early 45s that I had were Styx and Foreigner and, so I'm a hairband child, so I had, Hot Blooded and, Too Much Time on My Hands and, just stuff like that. But of course, at the skating rink, we played games. I had the Limbo Rock and Shoot the Duck. We used the song Disco Duck to play that game at the skating rink.
All right. Well, a lot of people know the limbo, and you could probably imagine what a limbo would look like on skates. But what is Shoot the Duck? I don't even think I'm familiar with this game.
You're not familiar with that? Well, Shoot the Duck was a game, and I've only seen it at the skating rink that I worked at. I haven't seen it played anywhere else. But you blow the whistle and you squat, and every time the whistle blows, you just squat down, and then you stand up when the whistle blows again. And then you'll blow the whistle again and tell them to stick one leg out. So they got to squat on one leg and stick one leg out.
Well, I remember growing
And
up, I spent a lot of time at Sunshine Skateway down in Miami, Florida, and I was getting pretty good to where I could definitely go forwards, no problem, without falling down too much, but then backwards, and the shuffle skating, and the all
yep,
skate in the opposite direction. And
yep,
then little did I know when I was, in my preteens, really, that I would grow up to become the guy that said, "Hey, all skate in the opposite direction," or "This next song is for couples
yep.
only, or adults only, or
The
speed
ladies'
skaters to the."
choice, and then you had the fast skate, the boys fast skate and the girls fast skate, and you know, and but I love that skating rink years because up here in Arkansas, when I got into the skating rink business, Dan, there were 8 skating rinks
Yeah.
on this side of the river alone.
Wow, that's a lot of skating rinks. I know it was big
At one
back in
time.
the 80s. In the late 70s, early 80s, people were skating, baby. And this is the
Oh
quad
yeah.
skating, not inline skating. This is
No, it's not.
before
No,
inline skating was even, I guess they were invented, but they really weren't big in the skating rinks for sure.
they didn't get invented until around the late '90s, around 2000. They came out with the rollerblades or the inlines or whatever you want to call them. And but yeah, man, we could jam on those quads now. And you were asking what makes me famous. If you'll get on Facebook every now and then, and it'll pop up. You can't mention Skate World in Jacksonville without mentioning Ricky, the skating rink on Friday night,
Yes, I
which is
like
what I
that.
went by.
I like
Because
I like when we become synonymous.
yeah,
It's nice to one thing, when you're living this life, and as I get older, you want to make a mark in the world, and that's the mark that we're making, is we're helping other people. That DJ that was
yep,
there, he had that great setup, and he brought that great music, and he set the
yep,
mood for our crowd. And this is something that we've been developing our whole lives, really, is how to please people, help people in our
mm-hmm.
own ways. And that's what you've been doing, DJ Rick Zilke. You started off helping people with that in those skating rinks back at the early tender age of 13, and that's
Oh
young.
yeah.
That's young for a DJ back then. Back when I was 13, I was doing house parties for a nickel,
Nope.
for
I was
free.
getting in. I was getting in. I was getting in the skating rink for free.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Usually, before you turn
Yeah,
the ripe old age of 18,
yeah.
they mess with you any way they get it for free, and they still try to get it for free. But that conversation just a little bit later in this podcast.
Yeah, well, I want to help a young DJ out, but what the young DJs need to understand, and Keys, you're this because we got all the same, and we got all the same in the business. DJing is an art, but it's not so much an art anymore because everything's computer.
No, the only way that you could make your mark. Okay,
Yes,
you bring a good
yes,
setup. You put the lights out. You make everything skirted on you have your DJ stands, and you got them all
yes,
skirted, and you uplight
yes.
them. We're more than two turn phone. We have to be
Mm-hmm,
more. It used to be
mm-hmm,
so much. That was all we had to concentrate on. Bring the
mm-hmm,
records, bring the turntables, bring the microphone, and maybe a
mm-hmm.
small speaker setup. That's
Yeah,
it. Now we're lights. Now we're Photoshop for the making the flyers. We're promoting
mm-hmm.
the gig that we got. We used to have a street team that some girls or some young kids that would go out with some flyers and
Yep,
tell people, hey, what club are you going to be out on South Beach? Oh, I'm going to be at this club. And for you, it
yep,
would be what club you're going to be in Jacksonville. And you had people that would give flyers out or just spread the word of mouth,
yep,
right? I
yep.
mean,
Well,
but
I got my first start in the club business. Like I said, I was 21 by then,
21.
and I started at Tramps. I don't know if you were in Arkansas by then, but
I
there was a
got here in
club in Jacksonville
2009.
called.
I got here in
Uh,
2009. So yeah.
yeah, it was way before that.
Okay.
But it was called Tramps, and it's in Jacksonville. And then he remodeled and became Splash nightclub. The Shizuzu. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
I
No,
worked a night. Yeah.
now I realize, hey, we got to be helping each other, because if we help each other, that makes the whole industry better. And people still in the back of their heads think, why am I going to help that guy? It's just going to make me have less. No, it's not. It's going to make everybody have more.
Yep. Exactly. That's what I tell these young guys. Get your money's worth. Get what you're worth, dude.
Right.
Anybody can plug up a cell phone and 2 speakers.
Yeah.
And run a whole wedding. Anybody can do that. But go beyond that, brother. Get get stuff together. Get it looking good. Get what you're worth.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm losing you. I think I lost you. I may have to edit this one.
I'm sorry, my dang phone rang, and I tried to get back over. It didn't work.
That's all right. And we're back. So
and we're back.
Yeah. You're talking about the industry and your advice to some of the younger DJs that are coming up now.
Yeah, man, get your work. Get off that bottom feeder. Get up there and get your money. Forget your $75 an hour. I mean, get up there and get your money. Because it's your time. It's your time. It's your investment.
Yeah. I think a lot of the people think that we work for those 4 hours and that's it. 4 or 5 hours that we're doing their weddings or their events, and that's it. There's a lot of pre-planning. There's a lot of equipment to buy. There's a lot of equipment to lug around. You have a vehicle that's lugging that equipment, and the songs themselves, they ain't cheap. They're 99 cents a song sounds great, but when you have 250,000 songs in your files, how much money is that? Let's add that up quick, DJ Rick Zilke. How much is?
I couldn't add that in my head if I tried.
How much is 250,000 times $1? No. How much? 250,000 times $1. How much is that?
Man, I don't know. I need a calculator.
That's $250,000 worth of music you got in your pocket, in your hard drive, in your computer. If you have 250,000 songs and you spent 99 cents per song, at least, because some of those songs are more expensive.
I've never thought about that. I've never thought about it that way.
You got $250,000 that you're carrying with you all the time. And we got to prove as DJs, as professional DJs, that we bought that music, that we didn't bootleg that music. We have to show records. Oh, yeah, I did buy that music. Yeah. And there's plenty of sites that did, but that's a whole nother story. Now, the young DJs, we got to help each other out. Don't step on each other. If there's another DJ, say at the restaurant that you're at right now, you used to have a gig there. Why don't you have a gig there now? Did another DJ come in and say, "Oh, I could do that for $25 less"? Sometimes that happens.
I kind of shot myself in the foot on that one. I let my ego go in there. And like I said, I got nothing bad to say about the owner because I still hang out here. And my replacement was DJ Scott with Southern Entertainment.
He's a goodie.
You know him.
Yeah.
And then he replaced me.
Uh-huh.
But I shot myself in the foot with that because I let my ego get the best of me. And I became to where there ain't nobody better than me. You lose me, you're going to lose your crowd and all this. But it was my own fault of what I did. Because some police officers came in to order their late night dinner at like 10:30 in Jacksonville, and I cranked up some NWA because I thought it would be funny. To play a certain song by NWA. And the police officers thought it was funny, and they all laughed, and I played it for like 30 seconds, maybe a minute or whatever. But the owner didn't think that was funny, and that is something that you have to learn, And I had way too many Coca-Colas that night, and more than I should have had. And I just let my ego get the best of me, and that was the end of that gig. I'm not mad at the guy. I'm not mad at it. I still respect him. He did what he had to do as a business owner because he felt that I had overstepped my boundaries, and he did what he did.
Yeah, we don't call them mistakes. We call them learning experiences. And I can tell by what your sound, by the sound of your voice, it's a learning experience. You figured out, hey, I'm not going to do that again. When I was doing some work down there in Cabot in the same general vicinity of where you're at. I was at at Papa's place, and we were doing karaoke, and I was letting people sing whatever they wanted, and there was within reason. And there was one song that was it sounded like it was very un-American. And it was, in fact, it was David Bowie's "I'm Afraid of Americans." And one
Yeah.
girl would always want to sing this particular song. And the owner decided that he didn't like that song and he never wanted
Yep.
to hear it again. So,
Yep.
yeah, just like that. Pow, cut and dry. I'm done with that song. You will never hear it again.
And you learn, and the owner's not mad at me. We were having a good time. Like I said, I still respect him. I still come to his place.
So what kind of, well, since you're there and you're doing a little free advertising for them, what kind of food do they have over at that place? And say the name again.
They've got great food. If you're ever in Jacksonville, you need to come check it out. Google J. Bill Grill. It's a little hole in the wall. If you blink, you'll miss it. But man, he's got great burgers, a great fish, great chicken. It's got real great food.
Well, I mean, being a robust man just like myself, what's your favorite meal over at the J. Bill Grill?
Man, I like the fish. And the barbecue ribs are the bomb too, boy.
Okay. Good tip. Now I know when I'm in Jacksonville, and I often am in Jacksonville. So, growing up with DJ Rick Zilke, you started off at that one club at 21, the tender age of 21. Before that, had you been learning? What did you learn in school? What were you wanting to be when you grew up?
Well, I originally wanted to be a teacher, but that didn't pan out.
I mean, what steps did you take towards that? I mean, what made you want to be a teacher?
I got into college at 18, 19. Well, my mom was a teacher.
Yeah.
So she kind of wanted me to be a teacher. And, an 18-year-old in college, I had better things to do than go to school. Yeah.
So what did you do? I remember my first year of college, I was the DJ. My fraternity, we had a lot of parties for the whole college there in Broward, and I was the DJ. So we didn't get a lot of schooling done that first year.
No, we did not.
What did you do?
And my parents were finally like, hey, "You've been over here 2 years and you ain't done nothing." No, I'm done. Dad's like, "I'm out. You're out. Come back here and go to work." So,
Well, I mean, once you got your head straight,
I've done good.
After that first year, once you got your head on straight, what did you end up doing? Did you end up going back to college, or did you go to the school of life? What kind of jobs did you get before you were 21?
I never went back. I started getting full-time jobs like any 18-year-old kid did, and I would do my DJing on the side, And back then, at that young tender age, before I got in the club business, I was like you. I was doing house parties for $50, or house parties for $75, or whatever I could do to make a buck. I've always been a hustler.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, and I tell kids today, I said, man, y'all gotta hustle. If you want something in life, you gotta hustle, because life gives you nothing.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. I mean, as an older man, I'm still working 3, 4, 5 jobs just to keep my family going.
Because we like money,
Oh, we like our families to have roofs over their head and food in their bellies. Right. But, the DJ business, you've already alluded to it. That is, you started off, that was a part-time job. A lot of people have to keep Joe jobs during the day for insurance purposes or just to have some kind of a steady income. I still do that. I still have a steady income job that gives me insurance. And that affords me the ability to do the weekend stuff, do the podcasting that I'm doing right now with my man,
and
DJ Rick Zilke.
By the way, I watch it quite frequently. It's pretty good.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, you're on it. You're part of it. That's the reason that it's so good, is because you are part of the show. The reason that it's so good is because I get people like you to tell their stories.
It's like you tell our stories about DJs. You're never too old to learn anything. Yeah. You learn from other DJs. Like, I've learned steps from you. I've learned steps from the DJs that I know and that we know, like Hollywood and Timbo and all them, and Scott, and even other karaoke DJs, that do it. I'm not a fan of karaoke, but I'll do it. Yeah. Because every now and then I can pick up $200 or whatever, to do it. I'm not the best at it. I'm more of like the MC guy that's going to make sure everybody has a good time. Yeah. When I first came here, I came from Miami and the Florida Keys, and maybe I could count on 2 hands how many karaoke shows. I had the equipment. I had plenty of karaoke songs. I had the screens to put up that, for the words and such. But maybe I've done 10 out of the thousands
of shows, of events that I've done down there. Maybe I had done 10. It wasn't until I came to Arkansas and I met up with Tiffany and Chris over at the Just Try It Entertainment, I guess is what they were. I don't think they're still doing business anymore. And they said, hey, could you cover this gig for me? And I said, well, I got the equipment. I was still running it like I was running a big event, like a club event. I didn't realize what karaoke was my first gig out. It was at a Mexican restaurant. There's a big difference between being an MC at a club, like where you started, and an MC or a karaoke jock, KJ, I guess.
That's right.
You know, what's your experience in that?
KJ is a popular term this day and time. But the thing I like about, guys like you and Hollywood and Scott and Brock, even Brock, we may not have time every time, but we all have different styles. You have a style, Brock has a style, Hollywood has a style. I mean, it's just all, it's in your.
Oh, every one of the people that I learned from that was at Lucky's down in Maumelle before I got it. He's a down in Hot Springs. My goodness, I can't remember, but I remember going like a few lights, maybe some different equipment that I said, "Oh, let me upgrade to that." And DJ Jester, he's a wicked Jester. He said, "Hey, do you have controllers for your MP3s?" I go, "No, I don't." He says, "Get some controllers." And the very next week, I had controllers for my MP3s, and that made it more like a turntable. I could scratch, I could cut. I went, "Oh, okay, that's it." And then Scott, you're talking about from Southern Connection, I found a guy who likes to bring so much equipment, so much sound, but the quality of the sound in that club in Little Rock. How long did you last there, and what kind of music were you playing for the people?
I was down there about 6 years, and about that time I in the club, hip hop was really catching on. So Snoop Dogg and everybody calls it hip hop day or calls it hip hop then. It's more like rap now, but I thought in the big night during the Snoop Dogg and the Dr. Dre's and but quite frankly, Keys, the music today sucks.
Well, I think about the hip hop today. It's got a very similar cadence. The cadence is all dubstep. I think is ba 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 ba. It's very cadenced to where it all sounds the same in my ears. But then I'm starting to sound like a grandpa, of which I am. I'm a 52-year-old grandpa, and I'm thinking these kids today with their music. But their music is going to be their music, so I'm happy to play it. And I'm sure just the same as you. If you do a Sweet 16 birthday party, a quinceañera, a prom, you're going to play their music. Clean versions, of course.
Well, the thing is now we run into, all the kids are YouTubing and TikToking. Yeah. Do you have this? No, I don't play TikTok. Well, can you plug my phone in? No, I cannot plug your phone in.
Tell people why you don't plug your phone in. I know why, but why don't you plug your phone in?
Let me explain why I don't plug a phone in. I don't even plug my own phone in events because your phone can ring, your phone can go dead. You may not have a signal. You'll be in the middle of something and a text message comes through and beeps or whatever, or the song freezes. Yeah. And when I do the mobile thing at weddings and stuff like that, I ask people to please put that on a hard drive or a chip. What's the name I'm looking for?
The thumb drive, yeah.
The little thumb drive. That's what
right there.
Put it on thumb drive, and I can plug it into my computer, and we can go from there. And I know everything will work just fine. Versus that phone, that I don't know what that thing's going to do in the middle of a field.
Absolutely. And with the turntables, with the controllers that we use for our MP3s, we have the ability to listen to the song in our headset before it goes live on the big speakers. So that way, somebody gives us a song, gives us on the chip, we put it on our hard drive, we take a listen to it while another song is playing on the big speakers. In our headphones, we're listening to this song. Oh, we check the quality. And if it's good quality, if it's something that's viable, we'll put it out there. As long as it's okay with the bride and groom or the guest of honor. that's the person we have to please the most.
Right.
The guest of honor,
Right.
the bride and groom, the sweet 16, whoever that is. The person that we're there for. But man, I'm enjoying this, man. I'm enjoying chit-chatting with you because like I said, I've known of you for years, known you for a couple of years, but I don't know a lot about you. And now I'm getting a little insight on Jacksonville.
There's not really much to tell. It's just me.
You say that, but there's so much more. Like in school, you wanted to be a teacher. And for those that are listening to the audio version, Rick Z is changing locations.
Yeah. Well, hey, no, you're fine. Hey, Keys, it's been great talking to you, brother. I got to get back to this.
Are you in the middle of something? Are you doing something? All right, Rick Zilke. I guess this is a short one. We're cutting it short. Let's, if you want, give some people, the people the last words, some words to live by, or how to get a hold of you.
Hey, man, all I can say is just keep it rocking, Keys, and let's have a good time doing it, brother.
Well, how do people get a hold of you, Rick?
Do what, sir?
How do people get a hold of you?
You can call me. I'm on Facebook, DJ Rick Z, or you can look up Rick Zilke, or you can get a hold of Keys. But you can call me at 501-350-4845. I'll be more than happy to come do whatever you need me to do. And if I can't do it, by God, I'll find somebody that can do it for you. You know?
It's been good talking to you, DJ Rick Zilke. Thanks for spending some of your Saturday with me. I appreciate it. Bye for now.
Awesome, Keys. Where are you at tonight, by the way, brother? Where are you at tonight?
You know what's funny? You just mentioned Brock. He just texted me, and he says, hey, you doing anything tonight? And I said, nope. He goes, you're doing the Rab tonight. Okay, I guess I'm doing the Rab tonight.
Yep. He asked me last night. I met Brock last night. Great guy. Yeah. I had a real bad opinion about Brock until I actually sat down and talked to him. Mm-hmm. And he's really a cool guy. I thought he was, when I first met him, I thought he was kind of arrogant, but kind of reminded me of me. But I sat down and talked to Brock, and man, I like Brock. Yeah. And he's doing his thing out of the Elixir tonight. Where I just took over. It's a new club in Jacksonville. It's called the Elixir Nightclub. It's under new management. It's an older club, but they changed management hands.
Very good.
And Brock's doing a show out there tonight from 8 to 2. And I got lucky enough to be the house DJ there. So Brock's going to fill in tonight. And I think Brock's going to do a couple of shows. And I'm going to do Friday nights. And me and Brock are going to split the time. And I'm going to go out there and support him tonight. And we're just going to have a good time, man.
Well, you see, people are getting to know how the sausage is made because you gave him the gig and then he gave me his gig. And that's how we all have fun. You see? We kind of help each other.
He said, Rick, can I use you at the Rab? And I said, Brock, use me, brother.
Very cool.
I said, use me wherever you need me, my man, and I'll use you wherever I need you. But, Brock's a really great guy. I held a bad first impression of Brock, and he probably held a bad first impression of me. But we sat down and started talking to each other, and I'm like, this guy ain't so bad,
Well, just like everybody, we're all trying to eat, trying to make it in this crazy world, man. And as long as we help each other out,
to do, my man.
We got plenty. All right, get back to eating at the Jayville Grill, man. Thanks for talking to me, Rick Zilke.
I'll holler at you, KeysDAN. Rock him out tonight at the Rab, baby, and I'll come out there as soon as I can to see you.
Well, there you have it, party people. DJ Rick Zilke out of Jacksonville, Arkansas. Little Rock area, all around the Little Rock area. So if you have some weddings or parties or corporate events or anything that you need taken care of, you call DJ Rick Z, Rick Zilke. Find him on Facebook. It's easy. And he gave you his telephone number at the end. Isn't that nice? See? He's available. He's open to you. Started it from skating rinks to clubs to all kinds of events. And that's what we do. We know. We grow. We help each other out. Thank you so much, Rick Zilke, for being on the podcast. What makes you famous? Now, if I'm turning my attention to you, my loyal listener, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.